Rahmani Rahim. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear respected elders, brothers, and sisters. Eid Mubarak to you all on this auspicious occasion, otherwise known as the Night of Forgiveness, or even more popularly known as the birth of our holy Imam, Imam Mahdi Ajwatar Sharif. Now, Muhammad ibn al-Hassan al-Mahdi, otherwise known as Hujjatullah Imam al-Mahdi Ajwatar Sharif, was born on the 15th of Sha'ban in the year 256 after Hijrah. Now, during the lifetime of Imam al-Mahdi Ajwatar Sharif, he went through two types of occultation, the latter still being present to this day, the minor and the major occultation. Now, when the Imam of our time went into the minor occultation, he assigned 4 deputies. And before the passing of the last of these 4 deputies, Hassan Ali ibn al-Muhammad al-Samari, the Imam of our time sent a letter to this deputy, declaring that the major occultation would begin and Imam al-Mahdi would not be in contact with his followers directly. And ever since that day, the Shia Muslims of today have been patiently waiting the zuhur of our Imam. In the program today, we will have various esteemed scholars such as Shaykh Mahdi Rastani, Shaykh Amin Rastani, and Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah, all who will be discussing our beloved Imam, Imam al-Mahdi Ajwatar Sharif, and each will be talking about a specific topic that will be revealed as the show progresses. So stay right there. And inshallah, after this short little break, I will be joined by Shaykh Mahdi Rastani, who will be discussing how to keep hope in the heart of a believer during the time of the major occultation. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Famazon US is a recently launched Shia company that is selling safe, hygienic products for the masses on Amazon. Currently, they're selling a silicone bath body brush set, which can help exfoliate your skin, can exfoliate your scalp, as well as a scrub and a nose cleaning brush. Currently, it is offered in 3 different colors and is only $14.99. Go to Amazon right now and check it out.
Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Jazakallah for joining us here today. So, talk to me about this topic about awaiting the 12th Imam and how it affects our faith as Shia Muslims. Because, as you know, awaiting the 12th Imam creates this hope in the heart of a believer who sees all this darkness and injustice in the world. So, Bismillah, Shaykh.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Congratulations to you and all of those who, inshallah, are watching and might be listening. And congratulations on this auspicious event of the 15th of Sha'ban. The 15th of Sha'ban, of course, you know, it's a special date for us within the Shia school of thought. But even outside of the Shia school of thought, outside of the concept of believing in the return of the Mahdi, the 15th of Sha'ban is one of the most important days and nights exactly of the whole year. So, you know, many compare it, and this is mentioned in our hadith as well, many compare it to the night of Qadr. So it's right up there amongst the most important days and nights that we go through. So going back to your question though, the more you look into Quran and Hadith, the verses of the Quran and Hadith that speak about the return of the 12th Imam, or at least that we might look at and we might think of them as verses that relate to the return of the 12th Imam, usually they will be revolving around a main theme. So a verse that we've heard very often, for example, this is verse 105 from Surah Al-Anbiya. وَلَقَدْ كَتَبْنَا فِي الزَّبُورِ مِن بَعْدِ الذِّكْرِ أَنَّ الْأَرْضَ يَرِثُهَا عِبَادِيَ الصَّالِحُونَ. That we have made it a decree that at the end of times our righteous servants will take over the governance of earth. Right? This is a verse we come across very often. Hadith says, for example, that a very good example of this is the return of the 12th Imam. Yeah. Then you come across other verses of the Quran, verse 5 from Surah Al-Qasas in particular. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَنُرِيدُ أَن نَمُنَّ عَلَى الَّذِينَ اسْتُضْعِفُوا فِي الْأَرْضِ وَنَجْعَلَهُمْ أَئِمَّةً وَنَجْعَلَهُمُ الْوَارِثِينَ. We want to take the people who have been oppressed, we want to make them the leaders. And we want to make them the warithin, the heirs of the governance on earth. So again, when you go to Ahlul Bayt, Hadith says that the prominent example of this Hadith is the return of the 12th Imam. It can happen outside of that as well, but the Hadith is saying the prominent example or application of this verse is going to be the return of the 12th Imam. So these verses, they're talking all about a new beginning. They're always talking about there being some darkness and then a new beginning coming out of it. Then when you go to Hadith, you also find the same theme again. In Hadith, the famous Hadith that we've heard many times, that the Prophet ﷺ says that a child from my descendants will come, and he will take this earth that is full of injustice and oppression. يَمْلَأُ الْأَرْضَ عَدْلًا وَقِسْطًا. He will take this earth that's full of oppression and he will bring justice to it. So again, the idea of a new beginning.
That reoccurring theme.
The reoccurring theme, exactly. That one thread that connects all of this. So this is on one hand. On the other hand, the belief in the Mahdi is something that you find within the Shia school of thought. As you know, it's something that is also there within the Sunni school of thought as well. Overall encompassing, Exactly, across the board. When you put these two together, what you automatically have is a belief in the Mahdi equals a belief in a better future. Belief in the Mahdi equals a belief in there being a new beginning. Like we read Surah Al-Fajr, wal-Fajr, the daybreak, right? That moments where you see, the night turning into day. Hadith again says this Fajr, this daybreak, this new hope, an example of it is the return of the 12th Imam. So it really gives you that idea that it's all about new beginnings. And if you believe in the 12th Imam, that automatically means there is a hope that is born into your heart. It's that hope is deeply embedded within you, right? So moving on from the verses of the Quran and Hadith, what we understand from this is that the more I believe in the 12th Imam, the more my hope is going to be there in the future. And that is something that we severely need in today's world.
Especially in today's world.
We're going through this pandemic on one hand. On the other hand, we see and hear about all the injustices that happen around us.
Absolutely.
Some of them very close to home. Some of them very far from home. But, we live in a world today where even if something is happening thousands of kilometers away, you hear about it, you see it on your phone, you interact with that reality. It sometimes, I might even say that it's like you're experiencing it, though not fully, but obviously. It's like you're almost there. And this is why the belief in the 12th Imam throughout the years, from the time that the ghaiba started until today, has been of so much importance and essence. For us, we might look at it and say the return of the 12th Imam has taken 1400 years, right? And counting. The reality is that when he went into ghaiba, and when you look into Shia history, you'll see this. The reality is that when he went into ghaiba, the understanding was not that this is going to take place for hundreds or thousands of years. That hope that he would return was a hope kind of like, let's say, for example, if I wanted to put it in an analogy, like imagine your imam went on a trip and came back. You would be like, yeah, he could be coming any moment. Exactly. And so even when you look at the signs of the return of the 12th Imam, you will also find this. That the signs are set up in such a way where there is a bit of ambiguity into them. And that is on purpose. Because
to keep you on your heels, or keep you on your toes,
your heels and your toes, exactly. So you have that hope. So this belief in the Mahdi brings about hope for us. This hope, of course, is something that, unfortunately, to a certain extent, I might say, we lack in our communities, in our cultures. The cultures that we come from, usually they are very negative cultures.
Pessimistic almost.
They're very pessimistic, exactly. And that is something I think we can take away from this 15th of Sha'ban. Is that if I believe in the 12th Imam, this means I believe in a better future. This means I live my life with a positive mentality, because this is how the Ahlul Bayt used to live their lives.
That's true.
They had a positive mentality. Many times we find in our personal life we don't have this.
And so imagine the Ahlul Bayt went through so much, oppression and, hardships throughout their life, and yet, you say that they still had such, they still looked onto life with such a positive outlook.
With a positive outlook. The Prophet, salawatullahi wasalamu alayhi, he's narrated that, you come across good things in life and bad things in life. And so the Prophet, he's narrated that when he used to come across something good, he would thank Allah. He would say, Alhamdulillah ala hadhihi ni'mah. Right? I thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this blessing. And then when he used to come across bad things, he would still say, Alhamdulillah ala kulli hal. Right? This is a very positive mentality, if you think about it, a very positive mindset.
Something we should maybe even adopt in today's, not even maybe, we should adopt in today's society.
Absolutely. And this is really the key lesson, one of the key lessons of Mahdawiyya, as we say, is what type of positive mentality are you adopting in your own life? Because this mentality is going to affect all of the other aspects of your life. Like we talk about spiritual development. If you don't have a positive mentality, your spiritual development is then going to be affected by it, right? If I don't have a good outlook in terms of my life, if I'm always looking at things in a negative and dark way, this is going to affect my relationships. It's going to affect my mental health. It's going to affect a number of different things, really. So I think that's one of the most important lessons that we can take from believing in the 12th Imam, how the Ahlul Bayt used to live their lives, and hopefully we can adopt it in our own lives as well.
Jazakallah for joining us here tonight, Shaykh Mahdi.
No problem.
May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you for your efforts. For now, everyone, we're going to be going to a short break, and inshallah we'll be seeing Shaykh Mahdi soon towards the end of the program for the Family Feud session. After the short break, we're going to be continuing this program, inshallah, with Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah. Jazakallah khair wa alaikum assalam.
Breezeway Cafe is a family-owned and operated Mediterranean eatery with a focus on lunch and dinner. We specialize in healthy options that will satisfy you and your family's cravings, as we sell fresh baked goods and specialty drinks for your sweet tooth. Come on in and try a well-known gyro or our shish kebab sandwich. Or if you're interested in more entrees, try the mixed grill or the rabbi steak. If you're looking for a more healthy option, try the steak bowl or the chicken bowl or the gyro bowl and more. Breezeway Cafe, located in Carrollton.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to the show. I'm now joined by one of our esteemed ulama from Austin, Texas, Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Talk to me, what are some of the signs of the zuhur of our beloved 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi Ajwatar Farj Sharif?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah, everything's well. Hopefully, inshallah, you're doing well. The signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman. Well, there are many different signs. In fact, some of these signs begin to actually appear right after the shahadat or the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. For example, the spreading of corruption, some people turning back to those ways of the jahiliyyah of stealing, cheating, lying. And of course, this is one of the signs that we find in the riwayat as well, that the world will be filled with injustice and corruption. Even to the point where it states that, there'll come a time where you cannot differentiate between men and women. There will be pretty much no distinction between that. And so these things have occurred even after the time of the Prophet immediately, but even more so now we see this. However, some of the signs which are considered to be, as they say, hatmiya, these are definite signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman. And that is that the Sufyani would rise. And the Sufyani is one of the offsprings of Abu Sufyan, according to some of the interpretations of that. And this is why he's called the Sufyani. And so the Sufyani will rise, he will take over Syria. And as he takes over Syria, there will be a lot of killing, there will be a lot of deaths, especially for those who have the name of, for example, Jafar, Ali, Hasten, Hussein, who are particularly kind of the followers of Ahlul Bayt have those type of names. So the Sufyani will rise, and as the Sufyani rises, this is one of the definite signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman, Ajal Faraj Sharif. Likewise, says that the Dajjal, he will rise as well. Now, the Dajjal, which has been translated or interpreted in many different ways, that who is the Dajjal or what is the Dajjal? On one hand, the Dajjal is sometimes translated as the Antichrist. And the reason being is that when the end of time comes, when the Sufyani rises, Imam Zaman, Ajal Faraj Sharif, he will take his army and fight against the Sufyani. When the Dajjal rises, Isa ibn Maryam, the Prophet Isa, Prophet Jesus, he will also return around that time, and he will fight against the Dajjal. So this is sometimes why they call or translate Dajjal as Antichrist. So this Dajjal is supposed to have, as it says, one eye. There's a description of that. So the interpretation, according to some scholars, is not that the Dajjal is actually a cyclone that has one eye, but some say that this is a description of the manner of the Dajjal, of this deceptor, that there's only one perspective that this deceptor have, and that is to gain world domination, world power, and it is completely focused on this world and materialism. So instead of being a actual being, it is an ideology, as a way of thinking, and at the helm of that would be those who are pushing for that world domination, for this very materialistic perspective on life. So as these signs, or particularly these what we call hatmiya signs, these certain signs that we will see, and it will bring about the reappearance of Imam Zaman, Ajal Faraj Sharif. They said the Imam, he will rise. Of course, right before the Imam rises as well, there will be this descendant of Imam Hassan, Sayyid al-Husayni, or excuse me, descendant of Imam Hussein, Sayyid al-Husayni, that he will also rise to try to go against the Sufyani to defend Islam, defend the Muslims. But Imam Zaman, he will come, and as it said that he will reappear in Mecca. And as he reappears in Mecca, according to some of these statements, is that, again, this is phases in which he will reappear. And so part of it says that part of the phase he will come back, and some may see him in the Hajj, and they will stay behind after going to Hajj. Because they know that, these are the signs, and Imam Zaman is coming. Some will perhaps even meet Imam Zaman before the full, you could say, reappearance. And according to one of the narrations, that as some of the believers, they gather and they actually see the Imam, one will come forth and he will announce that the Imam is coming. This person is called Nafsu Zakiyah. He will announce this at the Kaaba, and he will be martyred there at the Kaaba. So then the Imam, he will come, he will reappear some maybe weeks or months after that, after Nafsu Zakiyah is martyred. And just to show you that sometimes these signs that we have, some think that they were, some of them have already occurred, even with regards to Nafs Zakiyah. One of the descendants of Imam Hussein, Imam Hussein, who is in Karbala, he's the descendant of Imam Hassan Hussein through marriage. So one of the children who was not martyred, but he was injured in Karbala, his grandson, he was also called, they kind of nicknamed him Nafsu Zakiyah, and he fought against the Abbasids, and he was actually martyred. So some took that as a sign that, the Imam, he will appear soon. But in any case, when the Imam does reappear, and he will be there at the Kaaba, it will be stated that he will be wearing the amama of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the abba of the Prophet. He will build the dhul fikar as well. And so these are signs how we would know that it is the Imam. And one may also think that, well, how do we know that, this amama is the amama of Rasulullah, or the abba is the abba of Rasulullah? According to some of the understandings regarding the Imam of Rasulullah and the Abba of Rasulullah, that no one would be able to actually place it on their head. And this may be one of those miraculous things, because if I take my Imam off, anyone can probably just sit it on top of their head. But apparently that if the Imam, he takes this Imama off, which is the Imam of Rasulullah, no one would be able to place it on their head. Either some will say that it will even be too heavy for someone to lift, or as they try to put it on, there will be some sort of force or angelic force that will not allow them to place it down upon their head. So these are signs that a person may see or hear about and understand during that reappearance, that they know that, yes, this is the Imam Hajjaj Jafar Sharif.
It's quite interesting that you say that, Shaykh Jafar. In your academic opinion, do you believe that these signs have the capacity to change?
Well, as I mentioned, the signs are such. Now, aside from those Hatmi signs, and when we look at those definite signs of the reappearance of Imam Zaman, they're very few. Like I said, the rise of Sufyani and the Dajjal. These are two, as they say, the definite signs of the reappearance. Now, other signs that will exist, as I said, some of them existed or came about very early after the demise of Rasulullah. Some even, in fact, and this is a very interesting point, during the time of Imam Sajjad alayhi salatu salam, some of the believers, they questioned the Imam Sajjad, at least I'll just and they said that, your grandfather, meaning Imam Ali alayhi salam, said that the Mahdi, Jafar Sharif, that he will appear in this amount of time, a short amount of time, which was not too long after the Shahadat of Imam Ali alayhi salam. So some of the believers who came to Imam Zain al-Abidin and they were asking about this, they kind of had some sort of question or maybe doubt that, well, we see the signs of corruption, and so how come the Mahdi did not appear? And so Imam Zain al-Abidin alayhi salam, he responded by stating, and this is a hadith I kind of recall from some time back, and so I'm definitely paraphrasing here. So he stated that, yes, well, the Mahdi would have come and the Mahdi would have established justice in the world. And he says, however, the martyrdom of Imam Hussein prevented this, because people did not, and the believers did not stand up for what was right and what was just and support Imam Hussein. And so therefore that reappearance is delayed. And so what we kind of understand from this, that the signs, now, did the Dajjal exist at that time? Did the Sufyani exist at that time? To some extent, we probably could say yes. Well, Yazid, he was the offspring of Abu Sufyan in one sense, and again, creating mischief and corruption in the earth, at least, moving forward to martyr the beloved grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Was the Dajjal present at the time? Perhaps. This is something we don't know. So the timing of it is something, when we look at all of the hadith, there's no specific time events will happen, even the definite signs. All we know is that it will happen. It will come about. But when exactly will it come about? So, the signs of, let's say, for example, that we find of, there being, women, for example. It says women, they will ride the horses. They will straddle the horses like men. There will be times where you cannot differentiate between men and women. Yes, if we look in history, if we dig deep enough, we'll see that those signs existed. Was it perhaps a little bit different than what we see today of those signs? Maybe so. There may be, you could say, added elements of it, or a further, you could say, divergent from that which is right. If you compare, let's say, for example, corruption during that time versus now, people were fighting with swords and arrows. Now at the push of a button, you can wipe out a whole country. So do these signs kind of morph a bit? Yes, but are they pretty much essentially the same? Yes, you could say that they are pretty much essentially the same, but they may change, perhaps in their degree their degree. You could say that.
And now that you mentioned Shaykh Jafar, I have one final question before I let you leave. Jazakallah for joining us here again. As you mentioned, some of the more distant signs are pretty vague when it comes to the Zuhur of our 12th Imam, Imam Mahdi Ajwatar Sharif. Do you believe that those signs were made vague on purpose as to maybe, keep us as Shia Muslims on our toes? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Outside of those definite signs, like I said, those other signs, they exist, and perhaps they are there to keep us aware, keep us on our toes, because a lot of those signs deal with what we can consider to be just bad mannerisms, negative traits and qualities. For someone to be, for example, someone would be greedy, or this example that we definitely see around us quite often is that in the riwayat we find that they say that when it gets close to this the time of the reappearance of Imam Zaman, that good would be considered bad and bad considered good. And of course, if we just take a look at what happened to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, that was also something people, they knew that, well, hey, killing the beloved grandson of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was something that was bad. You know, this is the grandson that the Prophet, he would stop his khutbah in the middle of his khutbah, in the middle of his speech, and go and pick up Imam Hasten or Imam Hussein as well, put him on his lap, and he would continue his speech. But for some reason, it happened, this tragedy happened. And then over time, even now, you find some Muslims, unfortunately, say, oh, well, okay, well, that happened as part of history, and say that they don't look at it or deem it as bad as it was. Even now, I'll take something just as simple as cursing. It seems to be normal. So if someone just blurs out a lot of curse words, most people don't think much of it, of course, unless it's kind of focused on them. But if it's just happening around them, you know, people think, oh, it's no big deal. So simple things which seems to be bad, or things that seem to be bad, are kind of considered to be good or okay. Even now, if we look around us, certain types of actions, certain types of, you could say even fashion or lifestyle or these type of things are being put before people as, oh, this is good, there's nothing wrong with it. And other types of lifestyles and way of being and carrying oneself and presenting oneself is looked down upon as that, oh no, this is bad, this is ancient, this is antiquated. So there's a you could say a reverse of the type of morals that that we should have, and that's one of the signs, and that is definitely there to keep us astute and aware of, well, what exactly is being promoted as good, and what is being, and in its core is not really good, and what is being promoted as bad. But when we look at the core and we look at the principles of those things, which are, you could say, based on the values of people today in the world today, and what we see in the media, what is being pushed forward as bad and backwards and wrong. When we look at the core, what are those values? Are those values and principles of that which they're deeming bad, which most people are deeming bad, are they in line with the Quran or the Sunnah of Rasulullah and Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus wassalam? Likewise, those things which are being pushed to be good and okay, and this is fine, and can we all just get along? Are those values, are the core values against the Quran and the Sunnat and Sirat of the Prophet of Allah and the Ahlul Bayt alayhim afdalus wassalam? So definitely those signs are there to make us aware and keep us moving in the right direction.
Wow, subhanAllah. Jazakallah for blessing us with all that information, Shaykh Jafar. And again, Jazakallah for joining us here today. It's always nice to see a familiar face. You were also here for the Prophet event that we hosted a couple months back. So inshallah, we'll get to see you soon. And thanks so much again for being here. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
And after this short commercial break, inshallah, everyone will be joined by Shaykh Amin Rastani, who will talk to us about how the appearance of the Imam in our time may or may not be unique to the appearance of other imams in other times.
Here at Chocolate Bombers DFW, we specialize in custom hot chocolate bombs. What are hot chocolate bombs, you ask? They are chocolate spheres filled with hot chocolate mix and lots of marshmallows. We have an endless variety of combination to choose from and are open to new ideas. Just pour steaming hot milk over the top and watch the chocolate melt away and release those marshmallows into your milk. So much fun, they make a great gift for everyone.
Assalamu alaikum everyone, welcome back to the show. I am now joined by one of our esteemed ulama here in the local Dallas community, Shaykh Amin Rastani. Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
As you know, Shaykh, this is part one of the two segments that you're doing with us today. And for part one, I wanted to ask you, how the appearance of Imam al-Mahdi Ajwad Sharif in my time, or maybe, time after me, be unique to the appearance of other imams in other times.
Thank you and Eid Mubarak to everybody. And I hope that everyone's staying safe and healthy in these times, and that Allah blesses everybody on these blessed days and nights. And we are getting ready, inshallah, for the month of Ramadan. What makes the appearance of my time unique compared to that of the appearance of other imams of other times? So I think if we pay attention to one little thing that our scholars have pointed out, then we'll know that there's everything that makes the appearance of the imam in our time unique compared to the appearance of the imams in other times. Like, it's apples and oranges, actually. So our scholars have pointed out that the time of the imam is the time of dhuhur, it's called, which we'll translate to appearance or presence or whatever you want to use there. But we'll use the same word for previous imams as well, when they were also living amongst their people. But in the Arabic, what they use is for that is hudur. So there's a dhuhur, and there's a hudur. These are two totally different words, right? One is with a dha, one is with a dad, one is with a ha, the other one is with the thick ha. So the roots of these two words are totally different. Dhuhur and hudur. Those first 11 imams, they were hadir. They enjoyed hudur in their times. The people, they were blessed with their presence and hudur. Okay. The thing is, our scholars will point out that you would have people who were sitting right next to the imam, or even the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay, sitting right next to this person, and so the imam for them is hadir, is present there. This person has no idea and has no grasp on what this person is all about actually. Okay, this hudur is not equal to dhuhur for that person, so to speak. Okay, when something becomes a dhahir, that means what? That means it's no longer batin. It's no longer esoteric. It's now outside. It's something that is apparent, something that is not contained within something else anymore. It is dhahir now. That means what? That means that this is what the scholars point out, that when the 12th imam returns, now that's also a word that we have to see we're supposed to use or not. When he returns, his presence isn't going to be the same type of presence that previous imams had. Okay, that's why one is referred to as hudur, the other one is referred to as dhuhur. The guy might be sitting next to the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, stretching his legs out in front of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Right? Doesn't even understand what this person is. Doesn't understand that this person is the axle around which creation is revolving right now. You know what I'm saying? That this person enjoys a divine knowledge, a divine blessing that others don't have. doesn't understand the position of this person as the Imam and the Hujjah of Allah upon earth, right? Doesn't understand these things. So hudur is cool, right? Hudur is awesome. Like, you have access to a holy individual. But have you appreciated this person's actual position? No. Lots of times it's not the case. And that's why the Imams, they usually were in isolation. Usually people didn't know about them too much. Or even if they did know about them, they knew about them as righteous individuals. That's about it, really. They didn't know that they have to go to them for every aspect of the religion, really. All right? But the time and appearance of the 12th Imam, inshallah, alayhi salam, is referred to as dhuhur. Why? Because when he's present, then his presence is going to be simultaneous with a ma'rifah that the people have of him, that they will understand what he's all about. Right? I'm just echoing what the scholars have said here, and those scholars that I'm echoing are the ones who are telling us what the Allama Tabataba'i and the likes of them have taught us. All right? So we have this little chain here that I'm just at the bottom. I'm a nobody here. These lofty notions and ideas, they're coming from these greats, actually. Anyway, going back to what I was saying. Yeah. If a person is standing next to the 12th Imam alayhi salam during the time of dhuhur, it's not like that person who's standing next to Imam Zain al-Abidin, Imam Hussein, Imam Ali alayhi salam in their time, okay, and others. There's a big difference between these two. So to answer your question in a nutshell, it is very unique because these two times are not even comparable to each other. The time of the presence of the Imams, the first 11, is one type of presence. The other one, which is the 12th Imam alayhi salam, the dhuhur there is a totally different type of appearance or presence. And that's why in the Arabic, one is referred to with the term dhuhur, the other one is referred to with the term hudur. And you have this term in Farsi, you have it in Urdu. When something is hazir, that means it's there. It's present there. But when something is zahir, that means you see it for what it is. Yes? And so these two are going to be totally different.
As you mentioned, Sheikh, the term of return when it comes to the concept of Imam al-Mahdi and his zuhur is a very, controversial term. Not something that necessarily you said we should scrutinize, but at the same time you said there is some, further discussion surrounding the term. So would you further clarify on that matter?
I mean, look, I'm big on what terms are used in our hadith corpus, all right? If a term has not been used in the hadith corpus, then we got to be a little selective. I mean, at the end of the day, we do claim that we are followers of the prophetic and the imamate tradition and narrative. And so we're going to follow them even in the terminology they use, in my opinion at least, in my very humble opinion. When you look into the hadith corpus, when you look at the different narrations that address the matter of the return, quote unquote, of the Imam, as far as I remember, I don't remember them really stressing on the term ruju'. Okay? Ruju' means to return. What we do have is a raj'a, that's a different concept and talks about something different. But for the return of the Imam, you won't have the term ruju'. Lamma yarja'u al-imam, when the Imam returns, you don't have that as far as I know. And just recently I went through a lot of the hadiths about the Imam just to make sure about these terms that have been used. I didn't find it too much or at all, maybe even. So that's why I said, maybe it won't be the best thing. Now, do we have to be like super scrutinizing here and like, call people out for using the term? No, of course, that's not what I'm saying. But personally, I like to just stick to the terms that are used in the hadiths.
And before I let you leave today, Shaykh Amin, this is maybe a little bit of a complex question, but a question I think a lot of people have on their minds. Is it easier to be a companion of an Imam during the hudur of an Imam or the zuhur of an Imam?
To see, because obviously you said, there's a difference between having that Imam be in front of you and then having
I'm just smiling because that's a very good question.
Yeah.
And for the people listening, these these couple of questions Zunair's asked so far, like this, especially this last one, I didn't know this was going to come at me. That's a good question. No, but see, you're saying which one is, you said harder or easier?
I said, I mean, it can go either way, whichever one,
So
whichever we wanted it to go.
I think you should add another choice and option in there, right? You should say, which of them is harder? Is it the time of the hudur of the imam, the time of dhuhur of the imam, or time of ghaiba, to be a Shia of the imam? I would add that one, okay? Why? Because without a doubt, this one is the hardest one. And that's why the times that we live in, the ghaiba, to be a Shia of the imam, I mean, who are we kidding? If you go read the introductions or the prefaces of books that have been compiled, books of hadith that have been compiled for the, on the theme of 12th Imam and ghaibah and all of that, you'll find in the prefaces that the authors, like for example, go look at Kamaluddin wa Tamamun Ni'mah of Shaykh al-Saduq. There he says it. He says everyone's doubting the 12th Imam. Or for example, Al-Ghaiba of Al-Nu'mani. You look in that. Throughout the book, he has commentary on the hadiths he's mentioning. That's all he keeps bringing up. Like people have questions on 12th Imam. Now, when is he living? He's living, I think, maybe like in the mid 4th century, right? If I'm not mistaken, mid 4th century or something. In it, it's pretty cool actually. He's like, right now the Imam is 80 something years old and people are doubting him. He didn't know maybe that we're going to be sitting here like 1100 years later after the 12th Imam's ghaibat, still talking about him being ghaibat. So back then he was worried. He's like, people are questioning the 12th Imam already, right? He's like 80 something years old right now. And so ghaibat is the time that, people will doubt and you have to be strong. And so it's going to be hard then. The easiest time I would say would be dhuhur time. This is my understanding. I'm not quoting scholars here. But if you ask me, the easiest time will be dhuhur time to be a follower of the Imam. Why? Because it is the dhuhur. Dhuhur meaning what? Meaning where things have now become apparent that this person is of this position and status and importance. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be easier to follow him. Yeah. But the times leading up to that moment are going to be tough ones, which are the times of ghaiba. Hudur is, is in the middle. You're there, you see the Imam, you can ask him your questions. If he shows you certain things that convince you, or you use your mind a little bit to understand his rank and position, then so be it. So it's hit or miss in that time, in the time of hudur. Lots of people just weren't able to figure it out, and there were some who did figure it out.
Jazakallah so much for joining us here today, Shaykh Amin. Inshallah, we will see you soon after this game show hosted by our very own Sister Ramla. Sister Ramla.
Thank you, Zunair. Welcome, guys, to 15 Shaban special Family Feud. Yeah. I'm your host, Ramla, and I'm super excited to do this first ever brother and sister competition. Let's meet the teams. All right, on the brother side, we have Amr, and then we have Hamza and Zen. Thank you, brave brothers, for joining this game. All right, now to the sisters. On the sisters side, we have Rida, Alina, and Naviha. Let's bring Alina. Come over here. Amr, let's go. Welcome, guys. Are you excited?
Yes.
All right, ready to win this?
Inshallah.
All right, great answer. All right, first question. Are y'all ready? Round one. What locations are associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam? Kaaba. All right. Let's see what the survey says. Oh! Good job, Amir. All right. Looks like your team gets this round. Let's call up the brothers. Welcome, brothers. Your friend Amir looks like he got the top points. You guys are at a great advantage here. Are you guys ready to play this round?
I'm ready. We're ready.
Hype? Awesome.
Yes.
Alrighty. So, Hamza, what locations are associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam?
Palestine?
Palestine?
Jerusalem, yeah. Like they're both the same. So.
Alright. Let's see what the survey says. Good job. Look at that. Alright, Zen, your turn. What locations are associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam?
Karbala?
Karbala. All right. Great Hosseini answer. Good answer.
Good answer.
Good answer. Really appreciate it. Felt it right here in my heart, but unfortunately, it wasn't in the survey. All right. Amir, back to you. You're doing great. You got this. What locations are associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam?
Heaven.
Oh. That was such a cute answer. Oh. Great answer. Great answer. Wasn't on the survey. All right, Hamza, back to you. What locations are associated with the 12th Imam's reappearance?
Kufa?
Kufa. Kufa. Let's see what the survey says.
That's my
Hey! Look at that. Great job, guys. Great job. All right. Back to you, Zen. What locations are associated with the 12th Imam's reappearance?
Syria?
Syria. Is that one of the answers? Let's find out. Oh. Oh. I like your answers. You're doing great. Fortunately, it wasn't on the survey. You guys did great, though. But let's find out if the sisters can steal. All right, sisters. Welcome, sisters. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to steal all the boys' hard work?
Yeah.
All right, you got this. All right, Rida. What locations are associated with the 12th Imam's reappearance?
Samara?
Samara. I like that answer. Let's see. Samara? That was a great answer, Rida, but unfortunately was not on the board. So it looks like the brothers win this round. Good job, brothers. All right, let's find out what the other answers were. 5. Yemen. 4. Masjid al-Aqsa. 2. Medina. Good job, everyone. All right, that was a fantastic first round. All right, Shaykh Mahdi, can you tell us how did the people do?
Thank you, Sister Ramla. So the answer to this question as it relates to where the 12th Imam will reappear from. Of course, this is a question that many of us might have. The enemies of the 12th Imam might also have this same question and would really want to have their hands on this information as well. And it's mentioned in our hadith as well. Of course, just because you know about it doesn't mean you'll be able to stop it from happening. What hadith tells us, and there's multiple hadith in this regard, it's not just one hadith, is that the initial point from which the movement of Imam al-Mahdi will begin from is from no place other than truly the center of the Muslim world today, and that is the city of Mecca. Hadith says, بين الركن والمقام, between the Kaaba and Maqam Ibrahim, which is very close. For those who have been to Hajj before, you know that Maqam Ibrahim is a stone where the footsteps of Prophet Ibrahim essentially sank into, and they have now, that stone remains there, and it's really one of the icons of Tawheed. Between that area, which is a very small and narrow area, Hadith says that he will begin his movement from that point. And then that's where the hadith speaks of the 313. Of course, there's discussion. Is it just his 313? Or are they sort of the commanders? And is there other individuals who function under this 313? There are many details to be discussed in that regard. But the true answer to the question is going to be the city of Mecca.
Seeds of Noor is a couple with a passion for designing pieces that reflect the beauty of Prophet Muhammad ﷺ and his Ahlul Bayt ﷺ for your home. We are aspiring to unify traditional Islamic art with modern mediums. Our passion is our art and our love of providing households with pieces that illuminate the presence of the Ahlul Bayt to their daily lives. Check us out on Instagram.
All right, guys, welcome back to Family Feud. Now it's time for round 2. All right, Hamza and Rida. Welcome, guys. Are you ready for round 2 of Family Feud?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Awesome. All right. So, let's begin. Name a sign associated with the coming of the 12th Imam. Hamza gets this one. All right. What is a sign?
Widespread oppression.
Widespread oppression. MashaAllah. All right, let's see what the survey says. Oh, that's great. That was a great answer. That was pretty great, I have to say. Good job. I'm sorry it wasn't on the survey. You did great. My heart hurt for that one. It's a great injustice.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Rida, your turn. What is the sign associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam?
There will be 2 eclipses during the month of Ramadan.
2 eclipses? 2 eclipses. Ah! Well done, Rida. All right, let's bring up the sisters. Name a sign associated with the coming of the 12th Imam. Back to you, Rida.
The appearance of Sufyani.
Appearance of Sufyani. Woo! Amazing. Rida, you're on a roll. Good job. All right. Your turn, Alina. Your team's doing great so far. Now tell me, what is a sign associated with the coming of the 12th Imam?
Black smoke.
Black smoke. Let's see what the survey says. Oh, it was a good answer. Not on the list, though. Sorry. All right, Nabiha. Tell us, what is a sign associated with the reappearance of the 12th Imam?
Pure souls will be killed.
Oh. Wow, you said it exactly, too. Pure souls will be killed. Oh, man. That's awful. But it was on the survey, so... All right, I guess we'll keep going. Come on, Rida. What is the sign associated with the coming of the 12th Imam?
A war will be waged between injustice and justice.
A war will be waged. Let's see what the survey has to say. Oh. Good answer. You're on the right path. All right. Your turn, Alina. Tell me a sign with the reappearance of the 12th Imam.
The trumpet in the sky.
Trumpet in the sky. Ooh, I like that one. Oh. All right, I just want to say those were all amazing answers. It's just not the answer most people know, but I have to say, give you credit where it's due. Y'all are doing great. MashaAllah. All right, let's keep going. All right, now it's time for the boys to steal. Welcome, brothers. Welcome. All right, boys. You have the opportunity to steal. Tell me, are y'all ready?
We're ready.
Awesome. Name a sign associated with the coming of the 12th Imam.
The appearance of the Yemeni.
Appearance of the Yemeni! Let's see what the survey says. Oh. I'm sorry, my heart's kind of sad for these answers. They were all so amazing. You did great. Just not what most people know. But looks like sisters won this round.
All right, wish you luck.
What a fantastic second round. Those were some amazing answers, wouldn't you agree? But looks like the survey had other answers. Let's see what the survey had to say. Number 8. More natural disasters. Number 7. Injustice. No injustice was done during this game. Anyway, 5. The jaw. Number 3. Sun will rise from the west. That's pretty good. Okay, number 2. All right, loud cry will be heard from the sky. Interesting answers. Love them. All right, well, Shaykh Mahdi, what are the right answers?
Okay, thank you, Sister Ramla. So, the answer to this issue of the signs of the return of the 12th Imam, or in particular the 3 main signs of the return of the 12th Imam. This is actually a question that I think the answer to it is one of the most misunderstood topics when it comes to the 12th Imam. Many of us have heard of these different signs that the Imam is going to take place before the Imam returns. Many of these actually fall under a category of signs that we call the possible signs. So in order to explain that a little bit more, I'll just mention the 2 categories that we have. We have certain categories that are mentioned in hadith for the return of the 12th Imam. And then in those ahadith, it's mentioned that these are definite signs of the reappearance of the 12th Imam. So what that means is the Imam is saying that this is a sign that will definitely take place before the 12th Imam reappears. And then you have other signs. And so what scholars have understood from our ahadith is that the ones that don't have that mentioned after them, that these are not definite signs, these are possible signs. Many of those that we've heard of, for example, like the lunar eclipse, the solar eclipse, for example, or, for example, certain types of sins becoming very prevalent, the sun being raised, or the sun rising, for example, from the west, which is obviously the opposite of what we are used to. These are signs that are not known as the definite signs of the return of the 12th Imam. Those that are known as the definite signs of his return or reappearance are 5 in particular. The first of them being a call announcing the return of the 12th Imam. The second is the khuruj, or the appearance rather, of an individual by the name of Sufyani who wants to and plans to go up against the 12th Imam. Number 3 is the uprising of an individual known as Yamani. Obviously he descends from Yemen, and he is an individual who descends also from the lineage of the 3rd Imam, Imam Hussein salawatullahi wasalamu alayhi. And of course he's on the good side, so to speak, so he's a supporter of the 12th Imam. The 4th is the death or the murder of an individual known as Nafs Zakiyya. He is also from the lineage of Imam al-Hussein. And the 5th is when the earth swallows the army of Sufyani, this individual that we just mentioned. So these are the 5 signs that are the definite signs of the reappearance or return of the 12th Imam. The other ones are possible ones. And because of that there being a little bit of ambiguity, there's always hope, and we should always hope that when we see these signs, that it is hopefully the actual reappearance of the Imam that is taking place.
All right, well, those were the answers from the survey. I would like to say, shout out to these honorable answers. Sinking and swallowing of an army into earth. Appearance of the Yemeni. Right, brothers? I know one of the brothers had that answer. It just wasn't in the top survey, but good job. Next, World War III. 1/3 population wiped out. And then, my favorite answer. Bad things. All right. That was a fantastic second round. No injustice was done. And catch you back on the final round of Family Feud. Welcome, Hamza. Hey. Alrighty. So this is the rapid fire round. I'm going to ask you some questions quick. Let's see how you do. All right. Name a family member of the 12th Imam.
Imam Hassan Askari.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. Awesome. All right. Name a surah that references the 12th Imam.
I don't know that one.
All right. Who else will reappear with the 12th Imam?
Prophet Isa.
Awesome. We got Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salam, past, and Prophet Isa. Great answers. Good job. Thank you, Hamza. All right, let's bring out the second contestant for the rapid fire round. Please give a loud shout out to Brother Amir. Welcome, Brother Amir. Welcome. Welcome. Are you ready for the rapid fire round?
Yes.
All right. Your first question is, name a family member of the 12th Imam.
Lady Narjas.
Awesome! Lady Narjas. Number 2, name a surah that references the 12th Imam.
Pass.
3, who else will appear with the 12th Imam?
The Yemeni.
Yemeni. All right, we got Lady Narjas, a pass, and Yemeni. Good job! All right, let's see how the brothers did. Good. Lady Narjas. All right, so those were our answers. I have to say, amazing job, brothers. You did great. And can we just appreciate all of our brave contestants for coming up and playing this Family Feud. I'm going to hand this over now to Shaykh Mahdi, and let's find out what the right answers are. Thank you, everyone. Have a great 15th Shaban.
Thank you, Sister Ramla. So the answer to this question with regards to who are the individuals who will reappear when the 12th Imam reappears. Now, I'm assuming the question was asked, in a very particular sense, because there are those who appear with the 12th Imam. There are those who reappear, meaning that they were alive before the 12th Imam was there, and then they show up after, again, rather. So the answer that I'm giving has to do more with the reappearance. Of course, the first individual that comes to our mind, and I think this is hopefully an easy answer that most of you guys got right, and that is Prophet Isa alayhi salam. That is mentioned in hadith that he will descend from the skies, and when the 12th Imam is going to pray, he stands behind the 12th Imam and he prays behind the 12th Imam. But other than that, it is mentioned that there are other individuals who will also reappear when the 12th Imam returns. Amongst them, and when I say amongst them, this is a wording I'm using on purpose because these hadith that we have as it relates to these indications in terms of who is going to reappear, they're very detailed and we can't really necessarily swear on every single detail of them. No, they're hadith, they give us a general idea, But it would be difficult for us to say that exactly the individuals mentioned in ahadith are those who will show up on that day. But a general idea, what we seem to understand from ahadith is that a number of the previous prophets will reappear. A number of the companions of those previous prophets will reappear. And then also companions and certain imams of ours. So the imams and their special companions as well. So for example, in some of the ahadith it's mentioned that some of the martyrs of Karbala will return. Imam Sadiq is narrated to have told his companion Mufaddal ibn Umar al-Ju'fi that he will return when the 12th Imam reappears. So we don't want to get too bogged down in all of the details, but this gives us a general idea in terms of who will reappear when the 12th Imam has his dhuhur, inshallah.
Jazakallah, Sister Ramla, for hosting that amazing game show. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. And before I begin and go to the second part of our discussion with Shaykh Amin Rastani, I just want to take a couple of seconds to thank the contestants of that game show for taking time out of their day to aid the program and work in the path of the Ahlul Bayt. So those contestants are Rida, Alina, Nabiha, Amir, Hamza, and Zain. And for those of you that don't know, Brother Hamza is actually a member of APSA UTD, which is the Ahlul Bayt Shia organization at the University of Texas at Dallas. So when you please do get the chance, follow them on social media. They're doing amazing work. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless them as well. And with that being said, we're now going to begin the second part of our discussion with Shaykh Amin Rastani, who will be talking to us about what we as youth need to do better to aid the Imam of our time, Imam Mahdi Sharif, and maybe even hasten his zuhur. So, assalamu alaikum, Shaykh. Bismillah.
Alaikum assalam. Need to do better where, when, how?
Needs to do better when it comes to the zuhur of the 12th Imam, how to hasten, the reappearance of our 12th Imam.
Okay, so you want, what can the youth do to hasten the reappearance of the Imam? All right. So forgive me, okay, but I'm going to have to, say what I talked about before, repeat a little bit of it again. We personally, I personally, once again, like to stick to the terms and terminology used in our hadiths when it comes to the 12th Imam especially. And there's a whole explanation to why that's the case, at least in my eyes. So when I look in the hadith corpus, what I don't find is what you just said of hastening the reappearance of the Imam. Okay? Of course, in the du'as we say al-ajal, al-ajal, oh Imam, return, return. We do du'a, all of that stuff. That's true, that's right. There's nothing wrong with that. But this notion of what do I do to hasten the return of the Imam, this, in Arabic we say this unwan, all right? This notion, you don't really find it recurring in the hadiths. Once again, maybe it's my limited research, but I did look as much as I could. What I did find, though, was hadiths that say, don't be musta'jal, don't rush it. All right? But does that mean we don't do prayer, don't do dua for him to return? No. Does that mean that we don't have to necessarily figure out what we need to do right now? No, that doesn't mean that at all. So let me say it like this. As a youth living in the time of ghaibah, what am I supposed to be doing? Period. I'm not going to add the part to hasten the return of the Imam because I haven't seen that the Imam's wording it like that, okay? Although once again, just like I said in our previous segment, there's nothing wrong with using that terminology necessarily, but I want to stick to how they've said it in the hadiths. All right. So what am I supposed to do in this time of ghaibah? Well, if the purpose of my creation is any different than the purpose of creation of the people before me that lived in the times of prophets and imams, then I'll have a different responsibility as well. Now I know some people like to spice it up. Like, we're in the times of ghaibah. things are different, all that kind of stuff. That's true, kind of, maybe. We'll talk about that because I have something to say about that too. But just to get the ball rolling and warm ourselves up right now, I want to say this much, that don't make it sound like we're some other, I'm not saying you're saying this, Zunair, but don't make it sound like we're some other creatures with some other purpose. No, the same verse that says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسِ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ applies to me. And so for those of you who are watching who have attended the camp, Al-Faraj camp in the past few years, you'll know that this is something I say every year because we get the same question every year. What am I supposed to do to hasten the return of the Imam? The answer that I'll give is, what I'm supposed to do, I don't know if I'm going to meet the Imam in my time. I don't know if I'm going to experience Faraj or not. Not Faraj camp, but the Faraj of the Imam, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm going to, I don't know if I'm going to experience that in my time, but there's one thing I'm 100% sure I am going to experience, and that is my death. And so instead of using this rhetoric of, let's prepare for the Imam, let's prepare for the Imam, that's wonderful, that's good. I'm not saying that's wrong. But the Quran is saying, hey, let's prepare for our death. And I'm going to tell you this much, I can say 100%, if I'm prepared for my death, I am prepared for my Imam. And I know I'm going to meet my death. I'm not sure if I'm going to meet the Imam and his Faraj and all of that necessarily. Inshallah, we do. But I do know that I'm going to meet my death. I'm going to meet Israel, the angel that takes the soul of the believers, inshallah. I'm one of the believers when he comes. So am I ready for that moment? I'm going to tell you right now, if I am ready for that moment, I am ready for dhuhr. If I'm not ready for that moment, I ain't ready for dhuhr. And so there will be people during the time of Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, Al-Baqir alayhi salam, other Imams who are ready for dhuhr. But there will be people who are in the ghaibah who are not ready for dhuhr. Why? Because as Ayatollah Bahjat says, they have not added to their value. How? By following what the Imam wants them to do. What is it? The wajib and haram. All right? So we're not some different creature that Allah created, okay? But there is something that I would add, but we can talk about that as we go on. Let me see what you got for me.
No, that's beautiful. Just keep going, keep going. I'm really into that. SubhanAllah, that's a really interesting way to look at things. I never thought about it that way because, I mean, it is true, you know. I guess, you know, there is a difference when it comes to the terminology between even, like, you can say some sects within Islam on the focus of some sects. You know, as you can see, like, sometimes Sunnis say, oh, you know, we're preparing for, you know, death. But sometimes our own Shias are caught up in saying, oh, we're prepared for the zuhur of the Imam. So, I mean, not that, you know, as you said, that not that there's anything wrong with using that, you know, I guess, terminology, but you want to stick more towards, like, what our hadiths say and how you think that, you know, if we are, you know, inshallah, preparing for death, then we are prepared for the Imam.
I mean, even if we're going to keep it a sheerly Shia thing, like, don't even take it to Shia Sunni, like, even Shia, all I'm saying is that I'm 100% sure about this. Usually in me, I'm not 100% sure about things. This one I'm 100% sure about. Okay, that if I'm ready for my death, then I'm sure that I'm ready for dhuhr as well. Okay, and that encompasses all of those things that I have to do. Now, we do have some extra stuff that doesn't set us apart from the rest of creation. The same purpose of creation applies to us as well. But it sets the times apart from other times. Okay? And that's where this famous hadith comes in the picture. So we're always talking about how end of times is like holding a hot coal in your hand and stuff like that. So I want to share with you this hadith now. It says here that Imam al-Sadiq alayhi salam, he said, "Inna li-sahibi hadha al-amr ghaybatan," that the possessor, the owner, the Imam of the affair, meaning what? Meaning Islam and the religion and all of that, and tashayyu', he's going to have a ghaybatan, he's going to have a ghaybah. So you see, ghaiba is used a lot. Going back to what we talked about in our previous segment, let me just open a parenthesis here. I hope I don't forget to close it. But the Imams, what are they using the most? Ghaibah. That's the term that's used a lot. All right? When something is ghaib, it's hidden, it becomes a zahir. The opposite of it would be zahir, not ruju' necessarily, but maybe that's where the return term is coming from. They're saying the opposite of ghaibah is ruju', returning. Maybe that's where it's coming from. But I personally feel that ghaibah, the antonym for that, and the opposite for that is more dhuhur than it is ruju'. Anyway, parentheses closed. That was something, I'm just referring to something we talked about in our previous segment. But anyway, that's the term that's used a lot, ghaibatan. When something is hiding, and then now it's going to be unhidden or disclosed and apparent. All right. المتمسك فيها بدينه كالخارق للشوك القتاد بيده. All right. It says it's like a person who wants to Kharit, you know, when you khart is a stroke. When you stroke now this here it says al-qatad. Qatad here it says like a tree branch or a tree trunk or something that has shok, meaning thorns in it. Okay, so let's say, I don't know, it's just a rose. You have a rose, all right, and you're holding on to the stem of it. If you want to strip that rose of its thorns, what do? They have special, I don't know, gadgets for that. They have special tools for that if you've seen. I don't know if you've seen or not, right? So they'll strip it of its thorns so it doesn't prick anyone. All right. But what if you were going to do that with your hand? I don't care about you guys, but like, I don't care. Like, I don't know how much someone might be in love with somebody else on Valentine's Day, but no one's going to do that for the person they're giving roses to. Like, hey, here's a rose. Oh, could you strip the thorns with your hand for me? I'm out of here. Right? It's not easy. No one does that. Now that's just a rose stem. Here, qatad is not just a plant or a flower. It's like a branch. It's like a thick branch or something that has thorns on it. If you're to strip it of the thorns it has, how hard is that? Okay, it's pretty hard. All right. So that's what the Imam is saying. If these are the times we're in, and then look, it says here, ثُمَّ أَتْرَقَ مَلِيًّا. He put his head down for a little bit. And he said, فَلْيَتَّقِ اللَّهَ عَبْدٌ. So those who are the abd of Allah, they should have taqwa in these times. What was I saying? The wajib and haram, right? Oh, is the Imam like saying that we have another purpose in creation? No, he's saying the same thing the Quran was saying to the people of the Prophet's time, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They should have taqwa, right? وَلْيَتَمَسَّكْ بِدِينِهِ. This is the little extra part. And he should like really cling on to his religion. Why? Because it's a time that there's no access to an imam or an infallible person. So yeah, the times are going to be a little different. And if the times are going to be a little different, for me to be able to secure my purpose of creation, that is no different than the times of hudur. Right? The purpose is the same. But for me to be able to secure it, looks like I'm going to have to take some special measures here. What are they? I want to share with you another hadith. All right? And this is where I think we have work to do. We have some major work to do. Because we have to shift from being religious people, adherents of the faith and the denomination of Shi'ism. We have to shift from being adherents because of certain reasons to being adherents because we have a strong backbone. We have knowledge and ma'rifah a little bit. All right? And that's why we're able to cling on. What does the hadith say here? Abu Khalid al-Kabuli, all right? One of the famous companions of Imam as-Sajjad alayhi salam. He says to the Imam, he's speaking to the Imam about the 12th Imam. And then the Imam, he tells him, Ya Aba Khalid, inna ahla zamani ghaibatihi al-qa'ilina bi-imamatihi. Number one, it says the ones that are in the time of his ghaibah. Who? Number one, al-qa'ilin bi-imamatihi. They believe in his imamat, number one. al-muntadhirina li-dhuhurihi, who are anticipating his return. Okay, so we have this term also mentioned here and there, intidhar. Although some people will define it and interpret it in their own way, okay, but what we have in the hadiths is that they are awaiting it. It's not like they're just totally negligent of it. That's the least that you can get from this term. Some people don't even care. No, these people care. They're waiting. They're wishing that he returns. Okay, you see here it says al-muntadirin li-dhuhurihi, not li-ruju'ihi. That term that I was talking about, dhuhur is used, not ruju'. Parentheses closed again. These people who are not negligent and who believe in his imamat, afdal min ahli kulli zaman. They are the best of all people of all times. All right? Why? This is the part that gets me and you off our backs, inshallah. لأن الله تبارك وتعالى أعطاه من العقول والأفهام والمعرفة ما صارت به الغيبة عندهم بمنزلة المشاهدة. Are you kidding me? Where is that mind blown emoji when you need it? Okay, like this hadith, okay, it is special. All right? It says, because Allah has given them intellects and understandings and knowledge and ma'rifah by which the ghaibah for them has become mushahada, seeing the Imam. Ayatullah Ansari Hamadani, rahmatullah alayh, you know, he would be asked like, oh, the Imam, the 12th Imam, we want to see him, this and that. He's like, whoa, you can't see him? You don't, what do you mean? What's going on? Where is he? What do you mean he's not here? Like, he knows what's going on, right? But like, look, this is Ansari Hamadani who's saying, for me, his ghaibah and dhuhur are the same. He can say this. I can't just be like some 18-year-old who spends like 18 hours a day on video games, right? And be like, this hadith is talking about me. Allah has given me an intellect and afham and ma'rifah that ghaibah has become like mushahada and seeing. Bro, all you're seeing is the video game console, bro. That's all you're seeing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, no. This afham and uqul, Allah will give it to the ones who work for it. So, am I supposed to start learning about my deen and about the ma'rifah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the 12th Imam? Am I supposed to learn about these when I'm 50 years old? Or when now I have everything at my fingertips? I have access to scholars very easily now. Am I going to keep them on their toes and go to them and ask them for classes and questions and all that kind of stuff? Or am I going to just settle for the same old status quo that we've been in for the past 1100 years after the ghaibat of the Imam? Which one is it? It's our choice, right? Now, inshallah, when a time comes where the majority maybe reach this point, or a good number reach this point where they have a ma'rifah of the Imam that's proper, maybe that's one of the reasons why the Imam will do dhuhur. Because even during his ghaibat, he's zahir to them. And so dhuhur automatically happens, This is kind of answering your first question in our previous segment, So yeah, that's what I see. The times are different. The times are sensitive. And the times require special attention. All right? And for that, we need to reach this. Al-uqul, wal-afham, wal-ma'rifah. But not just any. The type that will make ghaibah for you as if it is mushahada. And for that, it is going to be action plus knowledge. Or else it will not turn into ma'rifah. It'll just be information and you tweeting stuff. That's all it's going to be.
Wow, subhanallah. Jazakallah for that very powerful speech, Shaykh Amin. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you. And may, those words that you said be something that we can implement into our daily lives and learn from and grow as not only Shia Muslims, but inshallah human beings as well. Jazakallah again, Shaykh Amin Rastani, for taking the time out of your day to be a part of this, program. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and your family. Jazakallah everyone for tuning in to tonight's program. Jazakallah to our three beloved esteemed scholars who not only blessed us with their presence but also blessed us with their knowledge. Those being Shaykh Mahdi Rastani, Shaykh Amin Rastani, and Shaykh Jafar Muhibullah. We here at Dallas Youth hope that this program was beneficial to y'all, and we hope that everyone learned something from it. If you or someone has an idea that they want to put into fruition and want to put from paper into the real world, please do contact us at Dallas Youth. We have an Instagram and a Twitter and many members throughout the community who are a part of the organization. And before I end off today, I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who helped put together this program, specifically some of these individuals I'm about to read off: Sister Sarah, Sister Alina, Brother Muhammad Mamdani, Sister Ramla, Sister Rida, Brother Zain, Brother Muhammad Pirbai, Sister Noma, Sister Nabiha, Brother Amir, Brother Hamza, and our very own Brother Ali Rizvi. So Jazakallah khair, everyone. Walaikum assalam. And just like our Imam, we'll be back, inshallah.
My name is Zain Joffrey. I'm from Los Angeles, California, and I want to be eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I'm Medina from Canada, and I want to become eligible for the team in order to attain the dream.
Hey guys, I'm Ali Ahmed Shah from New Jersey, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I'm Umar from Dallas, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
My name is Hassan Niani. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I want to be eligible for the team to make the dream.
I'm Hussein Birbai. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I want to be eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Abbas Zaidi. I'm from Houston, Texas. I want to be eligible for the team so I can attain the dream.
Hi, my name is Nasreen Naqvi from Baltimore, Maryland, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm An Ali from Houston, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I'm Hiba Rizzi from Chicago, Illinois, and I want to be eligible for the team to attain the dream.
My name is Moses McNojia. I'm from Ashburn, Virginia, and I'd like to be eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Hey, salam everybody. My name is Amir Heather. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Bismillah Reza. I'm from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Assalamu alaikum. I'm Michael Hassan from Dallas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I'm Safia Hassan from Ashburn, Virginia, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Hey, salam everybody. My name is Hani Zaidi. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I am Muhammad Heather from Dallas, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I am Muhammad Birbai from Dallas, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasub Zedi from Houston, Texas, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I am Thua McNojia from Ashburn, Virginia, and I want to be eligible for the team to attain the dream.
My name is Zara, and I'm from Richmond Hill, Ontario, and I want to become eligible for the team to attain the dream.
I'm Shazza Shah from Manchester, and I want to become eligible to join the team to attain the dream.
They're spreading injustice, nation after nation, for their own selfish needs, their own selfish reason. But I know, Imam, that when you reappear, there will always be peace and there will be no fear. But I can't bear to hear the heartbeat of time. I can't bear to hear the heartbeat of time. Oh, the savior of mankind, please show us a sign.
O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. O light of Allah, you are our true guide. We're waiting for you to be by your side. Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Ya Mawla. Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Master. Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Ya Mawla. Allah Jalla Allah Jalla, Allah Jalla.